With me in studio are Curtis and Sonia Dillon. It is time for us to wander the world, and they are going to help us wander our part of the world because they are absolutely passionate about getting South Africans visiting our own country and exploring the many different beautiful nooks and crannies of South Africa. They are true South African explorers, and they are the husband and wife duo behind a platform called DustBugs Travel. You might have come across them on YouTube primarily, but also on other social media, and they love crisscrossing the country, visiting and documenting its tiny dorpies, the places you might just whiz past in your car without stopping to look. Perhaps you've never even noticed the signboard pointing you off the main drag to go and find these places. They are doing it for you. And at the last count, I think it was 650. Is that correct, Curtis?
Yeah, about 650 towns and places. Yeah.
And still going.
Still going.
Well, welcome. First of all, it's wonderful to have you both with us. Thanks for coming into studio. How did this all begin? Who had the idea that you were going to go start visiting small towns all over South Africa?
It's a crazy time. I don't know. I'm sure most people remember 2020 with COVID.
Yeah.
We were all locked up in our flat, sitting, looking at the beach with the seagulls walking around, wondering where their next chip is going to come from. So we decided, listen, we're going to have to make a plan because life was crazy at that stage.
Yeah.
So, as life carries on, we got swept up back into work again, worked 24/7, carried on. And then in 2021, my brother's son passed away.
I'm sorry.
And it was just like a shock to us. And that's when we decided, listen, life's just too short. We have to start living. And that's when we started traveling. And we just started sharing it on YouTube, specifically for my mother, because she can't travel and she wanted to see where we go. And also for our family and friends. We started doing it, and that's how the traveling started and the YouTube channel began. Yeah.
And I love this because I'm literally busy right now reading Marita van der Vyver's new book, which is about her travels in overseas. And she made the comment about how in the olden days when travel was exotic and something you only did occasionally, it was a real occasion to share your travel snaps and adventures with the whole neighborhood, and you'd all come and watch the slides in somebody's house. And today it's so easy to snap a pic and say, this is where we are.
Exactly. Yeah.
Clearly there's something about the way you guys are doing it that is appealing, because it's gone from being, hey, Ma, this is where we are this weekend, to something much bigger than that. Sonia, talk to us about how the platform's grown since then.
Do you know what, Pippa? We're a normal, regular, everyday husband and wife. We still work full time.
Okay.
Every now and again, our profession, which is real estate, gets a little too much and we need to escape. And it's also important for us. We live in the Western Cape, in the town of Strand. We're extremely happy there and we love it, but we also feel it's incredibly important for us to see other parts of our country, because sometimes I think we live in a little bubble.
Yeah.
And it's important to see how other folks live in other towns, and there's so much beauty everywhere in our country. That's why we'll never run out of places.
Yeah.
If you had to put a percentage on it, do you think you've even scratched the surface, or were you only a quarter of the way there?
Well, we've done most places in the Western Cape, most places in the Northern Cape, through the Karoo, a lot of places in the Free State, the Eastern Cape, and we've started doing Limpopo, KwaZulu-Natal, and Mpumalanga. And we've done all of these, and there's like way over 650 places, but I think there's still that many left to do.
You're not even halfway through the provinces
if not
on
more.
that list.
Exactly. But they're so far now, becomes tricky. It's like 2,000 kilometers just to get there, Mpumalanga, Limpopo. So then we need to spend a few weeks there to explore enough towns. But we love it. We absolutely love it. It is just far for us to travel now.
How do you travel? Do you drive everywhere? Do you sometimes fly? Is it all by road?
All by road, yeah. What we do is you rent a vehicle and then we hit the road. We've just come back from a 3-week trip, 21 days on the road, yeah.
And where were you in these last 3 weeks?
We've covered quite a lot of places. We did about 23 towns that we went through, and then we finished off in our most favorite place in the world is the Kruger National Park.
Okay.
Any
particular part of the park or camp, or is it the whole experience?
The whole experience, but we spent 3 days in Tamboti, which was...
I was born in Limpopo, so I basically grew up in Letaba. So the centre is very dear to my heart, but it's not always possible to get there. We'll take anywhere in Kruger that anyone can not give us. So no
there
problem.
Isn't a bad corner, I know. I'm with you on that. And I love the way, the way you guys share your content. It's not just ticking off another town and this is what it looked like and here's a picture of the pretty church or the most landmark building. You guys really seem to make an effort to connect with the people that you find there and to explore the local businesses, the local eateries, etc. Curtis, why is that so important to you?
You know, it's nice for us to showcase, seeing that we're going through the effort to get there, is to show what is there, what the people are like. And what's interesting for us is to meet the people in the towns. And that's our experience, is finding that the people of the towns are so eager to share their places with us, you know. And that's what's amazing. Every town has special people, and they're just so welcoming. And that's when we walk around there and we go and eat at the places. And when they find out what we're doing, they're so willing to share stories with us. So that's what makes it fun for us.
So, Sonia, do you go with a plan? Like, we're going to this town and we've already researched, we know we've got to look at X, Y, Z, or do you prefer to travel more organically and get there and see where the road takes you?
100% organically. We go with a route, but so we have towns planned and mapped out, but we don't have any specific plans in a town, except if it's an overnight stop, then we have accommodation booked.
Okay.
So we literally explorers by heart. So we arrive in the town, whether it is a large place or whether it is a small little teeny tiny town, and we show what we happen upon. And we still value the things that very often are overlooked. So, sorry?
For example?
For example, an old, broken down, beautiful historic building. We don't see the demise, the decay, the neglect. We see the beauty that there still exists. And I think it's so important when one travels to try and focus on the good and the beauty that still remains. And that, I think, is our premise.
Yeah.
That reminds me a bit of that TV show Going Nowhere Slowly.
Yes, we've
You're
heard
not
that
in a
a lot.
hurry. You are about soaking up the atmosphere, meeting the people, getting the feel of the gees of a town, not just ticking off, okay, we've seen the main attraction and let's move on to the next one. And I think it shows in the kind of content that you're producing. Now let's talk about creating the content, because not everybody likes being on camera. There's always a driver and a navigator, in my experience, when couples travel together. Talk to us about how you two divvy up the responsibilities of first getting you there and secondly producing the filmed content.
Well, what we do is, when we decided, okay, next trip is ahead of us, I sit and I plan the route that we're going to be taking, and which towns we haven't done yet, and the shortest route to get there. And once that's been done, we discuss where we're going to be sleeping over, and then Sonia finds accommodation, which has a lot of people contact us to offer us accommodation. So then we try and plan it according to that. And then after that, when we hit the road, Sonia doesn't appear on camera that often. She doesn't like it. And then I film everything, and we film everything. She does all. When we're in a certain place, she does a bit of research about the town, the history of the town and stuff like that.
But on the fly, not ahead of time or anything. We feel it's lost in the moment. Honestly, we don't have the time to do a lot of research, and we feel it's best for us just happen upon things. That works best for us.
We found that when you're driving through the streets of a town, you do come across the most amazing places. You go off the main road, go into the suburbs, and we come across wonderful old monuments that have been there since the 1800s, and things like that. That's what we love to find. You know, old buildings that might be destroyed, but you come across that and you'll find a cornerstone and you'll see the date it was built in 1897 or something like that, which is fascinating.
It's my favorite way to get travel is to travel is to get lost, is get yourself to the destination and then just walk and see where you end up. And sometimes that ends you up in a dodgy part of town you didn't want to be in, primarily if you're in a big city. But in the small towns, not so much. And it's often in those moments where you don't know where on earth you are that you stop to ask somebody for help, and suddenly you're having a conversation with somebody who points you to the next thing to see and tells you where to eat and what you must not miss while you're there. Terry has written in saying, I found Curtis and Sonia's content when I was doing research on the next town we were going to visit. I love their videos. So real. It's like a family member giving you great advice. And Terry, I wish you could see the smiles on the two faces in studio with us right now, because I think you've just nailed exactly what they're trying to do. And in fact, that is how it started, giving the family members an update on where they were and what they were doing. We've got a voice note that's come in from a listener who also wants to respond, who I think is familiar with the DustBugs Travel content. Let's take a listen to that.
Hello, Pippa and Sonia from Constantia. Having an interesting conversation with Curtis and Sonia. I just wanted to say that I am from the South African Air Force Museum at Easterplaat in Cape Town, and Curtis and Sonia came to visit us, It was a great surprise, and they did such a great documentary about the museum and the friends, the volunteers, and that, and everything. And we saw it on YouTube, and it was absolutely fantastic. So I just wanted to let you know that they've also been to our museum, and it was an absolute pleasure having them there. And thank to them that we have grown more and more, because more and more people get to hear about our museum. Thanks, Papa. Bye.
Thanks, John, for sending that through.
Wow, thanks, John.
And I mean, that's lovely. That's the kind of impact. I mean, these small towns don't get a lot of off the beaten track tourists. It must be incredibly impactful for them to be sort of put onto a stage like the one you're offering. Do you ever get that kind of feedback from places you've been to say, hey, somebody came because of your content?
Often, Pippa, that's probably the most rewarding part of our channel, is the feedback we get from the smallest business which you referred to in the beginning, that says people are coming now and saying they saw them on DustBugs. Nice. And a lady just this morning in Van Wyksdorp let us know that the bookings they're getting is from our video. So yeah, that brings us great joy, because that's the positive impact that we were seeking to bring.
Waar op aarde? Where is Van Wyksdorp? I've never heard of such a place.
It's in the Karoo.
In the Karoo, okay. Adding to the list. A couple of other listeners sharing their favourite small towns. And let me just share a few more of these messages and see if our guests would like to comment on the places that they have been to. Elsa says, we love CapeTalk, which is magical. Again, that's a place I've never heard of. Have you guys been to CapeTalk?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
No.
If that is close to Barberton, we were recently invited to spend 2 days there, but that's Mpumalanga, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So that's on our list.
Okay,
yes.
So you're adding to their list. Elsa, thank you for that. Another vote for Dwarskersbos from Nikki, who says seaside peace and tranquility, and she also loves Vosburg for lekker vlees and Karoo hospitality. Anita, speaking straight to my heart in naming Nature's Valley as her paradise. She says the indigenous forest, the lagoon, the longest beach, the beautiful sea, the dolphins, just one small shop and pub. There is nothing to compare. Anita, I spent so many childhood holidays in Nature's Valley, so I'm with you 100%. And I can see by the nods that I'm getting from across the desk, you guys love it too.
Definitely beautiful. I love the drive down to get to Nature. It's absolutely stunning, yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. I mean, you've seen so much in so many towns. It must be very difficult to name favourites. But is there one or maybe one or three that you can mention that have really crept their way into your hearts?
That's very difficult, because we've met so many places and many people in so many places. It's difficult to put our finger on it. But there's, like we said in the beginning, there's just one special place for us, and that's the Kruger National Park.
Yeah. Okay.
We find it very hard to single one town out above another.
I'm sure. Yeah. Let's see. Penelope saying her favourite is Pringle Bay, far enough out of the city but close enough still to get to it, with lovely sea and restaurants.
True.
Kevin says Stillby. Every beach has blue flag status. The town is beautiful. It has that setting on a pristine river estuary. Excellent facilities, including doctors, dentists, a great hospital just 50 minutes away, and great sporting facilities and wonderful restaurants and coffee shops. And Kevin, I've never been to Stillby, but when my parents were in Stillby not so long ago, and they went out to eat and discovered that the restaurant they were in didn't have a liquor license, somebody at the next door table poured my dad a glass of wine out of the bottle he'd bought and brought it across. I've never forgotten that story, because I think it says so much about the nature of the friendliness of the people in that town. So absolutely thank you for naming Stillby. And then several people voting for Arniston as being so beautiful and peaceful. David taking us a little bit further afield, Sinsa East must be one of the best. And Chris says, I've just spent a week in Fraserburg in the Northern Cape, some of the most wonderful Karoo architecture I've ever seen. Have you guys made it to Fraserburg yet?
Yes.
It was one of our first trips. We went to Fraserburg,
yes.
Okay. Now, so I completely take the point that you don't like to play favourites or name favourites other than the Kruger National Park, which we will allow. Let's maybe just talk a little bit about how you manage the costs of travel. As you've said, you are starting to get to the point where there's enough traction on the platform that people invite you to come to them. But it's not easy juggling full-time work with this kind of travel, especially if you're driving and the cost of petrol and car insurance and tyres and all of that stuff. How do you finance and sort of budget for these trips?
Papa, we essentially budget travelers, so we don't go exorbitant vehicles, and our accommodation for the most part is sponsored lately, because folks have reached out to us, which we're very grateful for. And self-financed for the most part. So we work, and then, we go. We don't have children, so we believe in living life to the fullest and not having to leave anything for anyone, if you know what I mean. So, we just enjoy life.
Okay, a very interesting anonymous message in, which I'm going to share with you and ask you if it's something you've had experience with or would like to respond. The person writes, I'm sending this message on behalf of, I think, many other people of colour who have had uncomfortable, lukewarm experiences in some of these small, insular, quaint towns. In your experience, how receptive are they?
You know, when you spoke about the hospitality in Stilbaai specifically, I wanted to make a comment and say that we found it to be extended across our beautiful country. Honestly, there is nothing that beats South African hospitality, and we have found that in every single town we visited. Do we sometimes get someone who's a little standoffish? Yes.
But yeah,
Anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world
Yes.
you'll find that. But with majority of the people, like I said in the beginning, are so happy to see us, so friendly. And it doesn't matter who you speak to, everybody, all groups of people are so friendly and welcoming when we get there. So
My advice to someone like that would be your friendliest self, be open, engage in conversation, because that opens the door.
It's really, I completely take your point. How you go in and putting yourself out there and approach people. If you, and this counts anywhere in the world, not just in small town South Africa. If you approach a place with an open heart, with friendliness, with a willingness to learn, to be patient, to be respectful of people's space, my experience certainly has been that, there will always be the one or two who are having a bad day and are feeling grumpy or just not people, and that's fine. But for the most part, my experience has been is if you approach people, if you make an effort to engage in their language, for example, learn a couple of words before you go somewhere, they appreciate the effort. They're glad to have somebody showing an interest in their part of the world and respond similarly. So that's been our experience. To the person who sent that message, I'm really, from my heart, sorry if you've had a different kind of experience, and one hopes that the further we get into our new way of being together in this country, the less and less those negative kinds of experiences are going to happen, and that more people are going to be receptive to welcoming anybody who makes the effort to visit their town, particularly if it's one that is a little off the beaten track and can really benefit from the tourist support of their local economy. For those who are asking, who came in halfway, our guests are Curtis and Sonia Dillon of the travel platform DustBugs Travel. And you said YouTube is, that's your core business,
Yes.
the video content goes on YouTube. If somebody's on Instagram, Facebook, are there other platforms where you've got a presence as well?
we have got a Facebook page,
Yeah.
also DustBugs Travel, Instagram, TikTok, we're on all of them. So I have got, but our main platform is
YouTube.
Yes, yes.
Okay. What's next? Have you already started working on the planning for the next trip? You've just got back, I know, from 3 weeks.
Yeah,
so,
we've just got back
yeah,
from our 3-week
yeah.
trip. At this stage, my main job at this stage is to edit all the videos that we've shot, because there's a ton of them, so I've got to get that editing done. But we are starting to think about the next one, which is going to be around about December. But we'll have to, that's still in the planning stages.
But it'll be upcountry,
Okay.
because, so it'll probably be Mpumalanga and Limpopo. Perhaps a little bit of KwaZulu-Natal, which remains largely unexplored for us.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Okay, so watch this space.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, I don't know if we've got time. Have you ever had things go horribly wrong? Just a trip where it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Sonia, what happened?
We rent a very small vehicle because we love gravel roads, therefore the name DustBugs. But we firmly believe one doesn't really need a 4x4 to traverse our country. So we rent a small little car, and we were outside Loxton
Yes.
on the Boekpoort Road in the Karoo.
On our way to Victoria West.
Oh, yes. And we picked the gravel road and not the tar. And then no signal, Pippa, no signal. Late afternoon, darkness was falling, and we got stuck in the mud. And there was not a single car in sight. And he pushed and pushed and pushed. And I sat on a rock next to the road crying, and eventually he got it out. So,
I had to dig out the mud from the tires, but I got us out at the end of the day.
But nothing bad. As long as one is vigilant in our own country, there's absolutely no issues traveling. And we've done 90,000 kilometers. So
That's a wonderful thing
Yeah,
to hear.
yeah.
And I have to say, I mean, it's the times things go wrong that are the times you remember and talk about for the rest of your lives.
yeah, they're fun. They're fun.
Because they are the memories that are gold
Yeah,
that you will
yeah.
dine off for the rest of your life. Listen, we've had so much fun engaging with you and talking about these memories of your wonderful travels. Thank you for coming into studio today, the big trek all the way from Strand. And thank you for doing such a wonderful job of showcasing how much this country has to offer and its wonderful people and their warm hospitality. I think you can hear it shining out of their voices that they've got a positive attitude to travel, which is what I think is making their platform so successful and engaging. And if you've never explored it yourself, please go onto YouTube and check out DustBugs Travel. Curtis and Sonia Dillon, safe travels to you for the next journey, and look forward to seeing the videos from the latest trip. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us, Pippa.
Huge pleasure to have you with us.